It's been a while since we spoke. We first met during voir dire. And during that process, we talked about some very important documents. We talked about the Constitution, and we talked about the Bill of Rights. And we talked about what a great place that they are featured in this particular courtroom. They're positioned on that wall so that all of you can see them. When we talked about these important documents, we talked about what they protect against. They protect against wrongful convictions, and they protect against police tunnel vision. Now, these documents come into play, and they come into play because Mr. Nichols has been charged with a crime. The government has lodged the charge of murder in the first degree against him. Now that they have done that, those documents come into play, and you know from the court's instructions that the state bears the burden of proof in this case. They have to prove each and every element of the crime charged. Somebody has a team meeting and they're late. The state has to prove each and every element of the crime charged beyond a reasonable doubt. The state tells a good story, but the problem with the story is that the evidence doesn't support it. The state never told you in their opening remarks. They never told you in their case when they were presenting evidence. And they never told you this morning how the crime happened. Let's take a look at the crime and the evidence. And I think as we go through this, you will see that there is reasonable doubt in this case. You all know this date now. On December 29th of 2009, Sage Monroe was killed. That morning, Colleen Gibbons did what she did every morning. If we could have the lights down a little bit. On December 29th of 2009, Colleen Gibbons, you recognize her house, you've seen the photo during the state's case. She woke up early that morning, like she did every morning. She's an early riser. She's the baker. She makes scones for the Saturday market here in town. When she awoke that morning, she did what she did every day. She let her dogs out. She took them out to the front of her house, to the walkway. She lets them do their business. They go back and forth. She described all of that for you. She also described the neighborhood that morning. It didn't look like it does in this photograph. This is the wrong season, of course. She said when she woke up that morning, there was a fresh blanket of snow on the ground. And we all know that feeling when there's that fresh blanket of snow. It brings about a still and a quietness. And it just seems like you can't hear a thing. It's so peaceful. So she walked out, she let her dogs out. She saw no one. She saw nobody lurking about. She didn't see any strange vehicles. She didn't see any cars from out of state. So after she let her dogs out, what did she do? She went back into her house, and around 6:30 in the morning, as you can see from the time down here, and you'll remember, I should point out, this house, you know, that's Sage Monroe's home. Directly to the south, this house, is the Staglins' house. That's where Jessie Staglin and her father, Mark Staglin, lived. Jessie Staglin was the young woman, cute as a button, who got on the witness stand. And she told you she had a babysitting job that morning.